die from cancer, and it was not pretty. So I went into a full panic attack. But my point is, love never dies. And that love we can take with us to the other side, and that same love will bring those people back when we're in crisis.
Okay, so you know that my book is called Love Never Dies, right?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know you had a book.
My book became #1 internationally. It's the second Hay House book, Love Never Dies.
Oh, my goodness. Is there synchronicity on this show today,
that's why you reached out to me and asked to be on my show, and you didn't even know why. Love never dies. Because love is the currency of connection. And, you know, Kat, my whole work is about helping people to understand that we don't die, we just leave our physical bodies. And it's a very simple thing. Quantum physics proves that 95% of our universe is comprised of dark matter or dark energy, not because it's evil, as in dark evil, but just because it doesn't reflect light. So we now understand that this 95% of the universe is what we call heaven or afterlife. And when you combine this scientific truth with what Einstein said, that energy can't be destroyed, what we have is simply when we shed the turtle shell of the physical body, the energy of our soul essence just moves into the dark matter. And we can learn to send and receive energetic communications to and from the dark matter. And that's what I teach how to do in my transdimensional grief resolution method. And they, exactly as you say, are here with a higher perspective, ready to guide us in our healing and in our prosperity and what is our right path to fulfill our purpose in life and be completely radiant in physical, mind, body, spirit, emotion, in every way. And they don't go anywhere. It's not like they come back. They're right here in the dark matter. We just need to learn how to tune to what I call the spirit channel in our brain to send and receive these communications. So what you're talking about is so wonderful, because until you learn how to really perfect your ability to send and receive these communications energetically, you can count on your dreams, because they will step into your dreams and get these energetic communications through to you.
That's so true, and it kind of brings up a question that somebody sent to me in an email for my radio show, which happens to be on this same Dream Vision 7 network. It's called Dreaming Healing. And the question was, why do I keep hearing my name called when I'm in different places? And they've actually got a term for it, Dr. Jamie. It's called the cocktail effect. The cocktail party effect, and it's actually in my book. And you can be in a big group of people at a party, like at a cocktail party, and all of a sudden you can hear somebody in a group all the way across the room call your name or talk about you, and it's like your ear drops off your head and crawls across the floor and comes up in the middle of their conversation. The same thing happens during the day with people who have passed over but are loved ones, and that love brings them back during a time when we need to know.
I don't say that they're brought back. I'm very adamant about this. They're right here. They don't go anywhere. They don't get brought back. They're literally here with us. They don't go anywhere. They're in the dark matter. So anyway, I'm very big on making that clear. So go on.
Okay, so they're here all the time, and then all of a sudden we're able to tune into, and they're able to tune into us, just like your husband called your name.
Right.
When you had the tick on your hit the right frequency, and boom, there you are.
Did you notice you just broke up, Kat?
No, I didn't. But that's
Jean. So what Jean does is, when he wants to validate the truth of something that I have said, he will break the audio. So I said, I'm adamant about this. They're right here, and they will let you know that they're right here by, their energy. So they'll interrupt the electronic frequencies. And so right after I said it, you just dropped off. We couldn't hear you. You'll hear that when you listen to the recording. You'll hear he was validating it by just stepping in and interrupting the frequency for a moment.
Yes. So did you hear when I said, that's what happened when you heard your voice called?
Yes, and then after that.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. How cool is that? I've noticed it happens more with lights flickering. Like if I'm trying to call on a spirit or a loved one from the other side, and I need help right that moment, something's going on, the lights in a room will flicker. And other
right.
people will notice it, and they'll look all around, and then I know that I have either my guardian angel, my loved one is there.
Right.
Okay, everything's going to work.
Exactly. And you can actually use what I call earthly props, the electronic devices, to actually engage in a back and forth communication where you can actually say to them, well, if I'm reading you right, dim the lights or put the lights back on. And you can actually learn how to use these earthly props to engage in the conversation to get confirmation of the message you're getting.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
And, a lot I've noticed also, I don't know if you've noticed this, Dr. Jamie, but when I have dreams now about my mother, when she first passed, I mean, she looked just as she did before she was getting ready to pass. And then as time went on, when I would dream about her, she was much younger. She was in her prime. And
That's right.
and to the point where I didn't recognize her one time. I was in a dream with her, and she was walking beside me. And I said to her, "Where are we?" And she said, "We're in Chicago." And I said, "Oh, really? I've never been here before." And she goes, "Yes, we're in Chicago." And we were walking along the sidewalk, and she said, "I want you to know that any time you need me, all you have to do is focus on this tree." And she went up a flight of stairs into a doorway. And beside the doorway was this tree. And I said, "Well, what kind of a tree is that?" She said, "This is a pear tree. I have to go through this door now, but you can't." And she did. She disappeared through the door. It took me almost a year looking through books on dreams and signs and symbols on whatever.
Right. To understand it was your mom.
It's the mother figure. It is the sign of the mother is the pear from the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I suddenly went, oh, yes, my mother was raised in Chicago. That's who was walking beside me in those peep-toe shoes. I kept looking down at going, those are really cool shoes. Where can I get those? They look like they're from the 30s and the 40s. And they were.
Right, because they'll show you themselves at their prime. Because when you leave your physical body, you're restored to your prime. When we come back, I'll tell a little bit about that. Let's just take a brief break, and we'll be back in a moment on Love Never Dies Radio.
Is something missing in your life? Maybe you feel lonely and unloved, or your work doesn't bring you joy, or you're secretly jealous of others. Millions of people, even those who are successful and surrounded by those who love them, secretly feel empty. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and I want you to know that the real source of our discontent is disconnection. And connecting to others and feeling love to our core is the cure. But to really connect, you gotta get naked. And I don't mean drop and trow. I'm talking about radical emotional nudity, where we expose our deepest self, warts and all. Being seen and loved in this vulnerable place is the key to unlocking the door to self-love, healing, deeply intimate relationships, vibrancy, and joy in every area of your life. Join me June 7 through 9 at the Art of Living Retreat Center in Boone, North Carolina. Get naked, get connected, and be radically transformed. To find out more, visit AskDrLove.com/live events. That's AskDrLove.com/live events.
Love Never Dies is now on the Dream Vision 7 radio network every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. and 1 a.m. Eastern Time. Dr. Jamie Turndorf, also known as Dr. Love, is the #1 international best-selling author of Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased. If you're grieving the loss of a loved one, tune in and find out how to reconnect and heal any unfinished business using Dr. Turndorf's groundbreaking new Dialoguing with the Departed technique. Visit AskDrLove.com to find out more.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
You're listening to Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even coworkers, Dr. Turndorf's book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 simple steps to cooling conflict and rekindling your relationship shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. Find out more about Kiss Your Fights Goodbye at AskDrLove.com. This is Love Never Dies with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. This show is for you, the listener. Once again, here's Dr. Turndorf.
Hi again, and welcome back to Love Never Dies Radio. I'm talking with Kathleen O'Keefe Canavos, 3-time breast cancer survivor and author of the Nautilus Award-winning book, Dreams That Can Save Your Life, Early Warning Signs of Cancer and Other Diseases. So, Kat, right before we took the break, I said, our loved ones in spirit they're in their prime. And I discovered this when a young girl came into my office weeping that her dog left his body the night before, and I said, want to connect? And we connected, and the puppy, the dog, kept showing 2 huge, big front paws. And I kept saying, what is this? And the little girl burst into tears, and she said, in his bodily life, my dog was missing his 2 front paws. Mm. So he was showing, in my spirit body, I've got back my 2 front paws. I'm good. So your mom showed herself as she was in her 40s. She was healthy and strong and wearing really funky high heels. So, yeah.
Yes, she was, and it was great to see. Once I figured that out, it was really her, and I figured that out when I went in to find, I was looking for some old pictures of her and her family because my mother was orphaned very young. Her mother was a trapeze artist with the Barnum and Bailey Circus, and she was dropped. So my mom was about 4 when she went to be raised in a convent. And so I was looking for some pictures of her and her sister because in another dream, Dr. Jamie, I remember I kept saying to my spirit guides, the monks, because they were with me throughout my treatment. They were constantly there. I kept saying, I need to see my mom. I really miss my mom. I need to see my mom. And finally one day the monks said, okay, come on. And they came into my dream, just like I talked about before with the what I call the sacred dream door to the divine. And they took me into this area between realms, and my mother was standing with a group of women. And I almost felt like I was on a conveyor belt between 2 monks, and I couldn't get off, and it was moving very slowly through this room. And there were other people in front of me and behind me with spirit guides with them. And I saw my mom, and I said to the guide, I want to get off, I want to talk to her. And she said, no, you can't do that. You have to stay here. And my mom suddenly looked at me. She was with a group of women, and she mouthed the word, I love you. And she did that 3 times. And I said to the monk, I can't hear her. And he said, that's part of the process. So when I was going through these pictures, I saw the other women with her. I suddenly saw one of the women in the picture with my mother, and it was my aunt who had died 20 years before I was born.
So that's they're all together. Obviously, there is no time in the afterlife or the dark matter or heaven, whatever you want to call it. I don't even say died anymore, Kat, because I've discovered because we leave our bodies, I just say they left her bodies, or your aunt left her body 25 years ago, which doesn't mean anything. And it's interesting, this mouthing of the I love you, because very often Jean will come through to me through open vessels, which are animals or people who are very open. But when he comes through animals, whether it's a bird or a lizard or a chipmunk, they will wiggle their mouth 3 times, I love you, in the same way that our little canary who lived in a body would do, I love you. So that love never dies. Love is the currency of connection and the current of connection. So let's talk about one thing I found really wonderful in your book was how you talk about dream journaling. So could you share a little bit about that?
Certainly. I am an avid dream journaler for a number of reasons. I believe that for those of us who maybe were not able to immediately or on when we want to tap into the realm where our loved ones have gone here on the earth plane. We can't get that frequency whenever we want to. But there's a really important message that they